Welcome back. Let's talk about our very first component, the battery. Now, we talked about batteries before, and if you went through the Foundations 1 course, then you even built one using some lemons. Now, in this case, however, in this video, we will be talking about batteries as in the context of circuits, as in a component of the circuit. So let's take a look. This is a 9-volt battery. This is a 1.5 battery. Until now, whenever I wanted to draw a circuit, I would just put the battery here and draw some lines around it and put a little light bulb. However, today I'm going to teach you how to draw a battery in a circuit drawing without having the battery itself there. So the symbol for a battery, such as this, is going to be this. It's going to be on a wire. It's going to have a negative terminal and a positive terminal. And the wire goes forward. This here is the representation of a battery facing this way. See, there's a short line and a long line. These lines are parallel and they are perpendicular to the wire. So if my light bulb is right here, then this is how it would look. Now typically, you don't have to, but typically we do a plus sign here and a minus sign here. This is the representation of the battery. So, long line, short line, and on a wire. It's very important that you do not connect the wire in between those two lines. So, let's do one again. That was a little bit exaggerated, but typically, this is what we do. Now, another important thing here is to put up how many volts this battery is. That is very important. You will see here, this is a 1.5 volt battery. Okay? This is a 9-volt battery. So depending on which battery we used, we may put 9 volt or 1.5 volt. This is very, very important information on a circuit because this indicates what batteries we used. Now, if you take a look at a device such as this little radio, you will see many times it's not just one batteries. There are multiple batteries in here. And they're all connected. So, in that case, we don't have to draw all the batteries. However, it's a good sign to indicate that there are multiple batteries involved using the following symbol. We would just double the battery sign. This would be the first. Then we would do another line here, another short line, and another long line. So it would look like this. This just indicates that there are multiple batteries involved. Now batteries, the way we connect batteries in a case like this would be, here's the minus, here's the plus. Now this plus is connected to this minus, and here's the plus. Now it's hard to line them up here like this, but if you have the E1 kit, you should have received this little device, which exactly what it does, it just lines them up. So this is connected to that, so when I line them up like this, I'm exactly rebuilding what you just saw. From here just so we take up less space, and we put it in. So if you have this device, then make sure that the minus, the one that doesn't have this dimple, goes on the spring every time. Push the spring in first, and then push in the positive. Now this right here could be represented as that. Of course, we could put a plus sign here, minus sign there. This is what we're looking at. Plus, in this case, is the red. Minus is the black. This is what we're looking at. And it would be 2 times 1.5, which is equals 3 volts. There we have it. And then this would be your circuit. We have many different types of batteries, and they come in all shapes and sizes. Just know, if this is the sign, this typically means that there are multiple cells involved. Now, this could be separate batteries like this, or this could also mean a multi-cell battery. So sometimes when even it's just one battery, if the voltage is somewhere above 5 volts, you will still see it represented like this, even though it's one battery. Technically, you don't need to care too much about the representation, whether it's a double or a single cell battery, because what you really care about in this case is the voltage. In the end, we don't necessarily care from the circuit's standpoint whether it's a double cell or a single cell. What we really care about is the voltage. So sometimes when you see a battery like this being used, even if it's just one piece of battery, it could have multiple cells inside, right? So we don't necessarily care whether the representation is like this or like that. What we really care about is the voltage. The most important thing that needs to be on the circuit represented is the voltage. Now, we don't even need to put the plus and the minus sign, because we know that the short line will be the minus and the long line will be the plus. So sometimes when the voltage is above 5 volts or so, you may see it doubled, even if it's just one battery. So 9-volt battery might be represented like that. Just know it means exactly the same thing. Now let's finish this circuit. If you are a member of the school community, then you will see, if you scroll down, after each lesson, you will see a PDF download practice sheet. I really recommend you doing those because it will enhance your knowledge, recap everything that you learned before, and give you the opportunity to get better at drawing, circuits, learning about components. So make sure, after each lesson, if you're a member of the school community, to download the practice sheets and start working on them. They're a lot of fun, and they are good proofs that you actually did the work and understand the lesson. All right, see you in the next one.